Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of No Tippy Tappy Football, brought to you by BOYLE Sports. Big thank you to BOYLE Sports. And if you don't have an account with them, our listeners and our viewers can get a bet £10, get £30 in free bets offer, plus a £10 casino bonus. So the link for this is in the episode description. And of course, as always, you have to be over 18, T's and C's apply, and please do make sure that you gamble responsibly. So our guest today, I think quite easily one of the most popular managers in English football. Sam?
Well, it's a big welcome, of course, and to our subscribers, followers, and that Tony Mowbray is joining us. So we go back a long time over the years, and it's a big welcome to Tony. Tony, thanks very much for coming down to our podcast today.
Pleasure to be here.
Tony, thank you so much for your time. I don't know how many managers out there are so loved still by so many of their former clubs that they've left.
I felt it over the last year or so, even being a lad from Middlesbrough, played for Middlesbrough for 10, 11 years, to go to Sunderland, literally 30 miles down the road, a pretty big rival. So many, Sunderland fans, probably more than Middlesbrough fans, have been in touch by various ways, people sending me boxes of revels and boxes of chocolates.
Well, talk about the revel story, right. Tony. Go on.
Well, Sam, I've got so many revel stories, to be honest. I've got 30 boxes in my garage.
I love revels, Tony.
If you'd have said that, I would have brought
love
boxes
them,
of them.
except the coffee ones.
So not too long ago, I was walking my dog and I passed a gentleman on the street before we got to the park. And I said, good morning, good morning. Anyway, literally 10 minutes later, I'd walked half a mile down. This guy's sprinting after me, sweating. He was maybe in his 50s, and he brought me a bag of revels from the shop, and he ran after me.
So where the revel addiction come from? How did it get out in the public domain?
Yeah, well, I used to eat revels at Sunderland, but
right.
before at West Brom early in my career, I used to eat lots of chocolate. Basically, there's a Cadbury's. I don't know whether we're okay with the
Go for it.
Right. Well, Cadbury's have got huge, big factories in Birmingham and West Brom. I used to sit there with a Cadbury's chocolate and thinking, and they did send me lots of chocolate.
It was planned, Tony.
It wasn't planned. It was like the fact that I would always eat chocolate, and I still today eat too much chocolate. It's something that I crave chocolate, my fridge is constantly... It's full of minstrels at the moment and Kit Kats, just in case they're watching. But no.
My fridge is full of
might come
revels.
flooding in again after this.
What's your fridge full of?
My fridge is full of too much.
Yes.
But my variation, if you want to go to chocolate, is like my variation in life. I think I've talked about this before. I cannot stick to just... I have to change.
Oh, right.
And I like change. I don't like
ideas, then. What's your snacks?
Maltesers, Snickers. Yeah,
Tony's nodding.
Picnics.
Picnics?
Yeah, picnics, yeah.
Picnics, do they exist?
Picnics, yeah, they're lovely, them.
So you got Star Bar as well. Somebody gave me a Star Bar the other day. They're from the 80s, a Star Bar.
Yeah, they are.
There they are, they're back.
And can we just go back? You keep your chocolate in the fridge?
Yeah, I do.
You're a fridge.
Mine's in the fridge, yeah.
Right. I wouldn't eat chocolate if it didn't come out of the fridge.
There you go. If you're going to give Tony chocolate in future, it needs to be fresh out the
After
fridge.
eights, oh.
Christmas, that's Christmas.
Oh, no, every day.
You have after eights all year round?
Put one on your tongue.
On your tongue?
Yeah, and let it soak in.
Oh, don't.
What a start to the podcast.
Anyway, we might talk about football in a minute.
Well, just quickly before we do talk about football, Tony, just wanted to ask you how your health is at the minute.
Of course, good. I was telling Sam earlier before we started, I'd had a scan in the last few weeks. Everything's good. I've had maybe 3 or 4 all clears now, and you build up your strength again because after the operation and then through the chemotherapy, you don't realise how weak your body is really. And it was a chore to walk up the stairs. It was a chore to stand in a shower. You needed to sit down. It was you needed to build my strength and my body back. And even though I can't eat vegetables, I can't eat fruit, I can't eat brown bread, anything that's healthy for me, I can't eat it. But I do take supplements and eat lots of low fibre food. But yeah, I'm good. I feel strong. I feel good enough to come to Manchester and feel confident about my bowel that I've now, I spend my life doing planks really to create this strength from my core to be able to control my movements and stuff really. It's been a big 18 months for me, but I'm feeling pretty good at the moment.
So shocking it when you know what I mean, when you're
When you all your life
Or
you've done
become
what
something
you
like
want.
that, yeah.
See, I've always liked fine food, fine dining, and gone for like these 10-course meals with my wife and stuff. And yet I can't. We tried to do it recently, and you have to. I spent half an hour with the chefs or the maitre d's talking about what they can't put in and stuff. It's a chore really. I'm basically eating meat and mashed potato in the rest of my life, I think. But that's okay. You've got to be disciplined, and I feel as if that's one element of my life that I can control.
Well, we had lots of messages in sending you best wishes and love from Middlesbrough fans, from Blackburn fans, from Birmingham fans, from Sunderland fans, and West Brom fans. We had messages in from all of them for you, Tony. So we're glad to hear that your health is doing well. Your last job was at West Brom.
Yeah.
Would you get back in again?
Yeah, I think so. I made a conscious decision after the West Brom situation. I was going to enjoy the summer with my family. I've got 3 teenage boys. The eldest is now 20, 18 and 16. They'd been badgering me to go back to Florida because we've got a house full of pictures and stuff of them as 2, 4 and 6, or 8, 10 and 12 at Disney World and Florida and on all the rides. And so we're not long back from Florida doing that. It was good for me. That's part of the reason I agreed to do it, because you're walking 15 miles a day basically around them parks, and it was good for me to build.
How were the queues?
Well, you call them lightning passes.
Lightning passes,
Go on,
yeah.
Tony, that's the secret.
Yeah, lightning lane,
lightning lanes. And, I'm fortunate enough to be able to, because nothing's cheap.
Pay for that, nothing new.
It's, the biggest thing was food. I suppose you go for lunch and you go for dinner. The tips more than it's unbelievable. But listen, we had an amazing time. So my point being, after West Brom, I made a very conscious effort to spend some time with my family. I feel as if I've sacrificed a lot in life, as football managers do, because the kids stay at the school they go to, and I go away and do my job, and the wife looks after them. And I feel as if I've got 3 super athletic, super sporty, super brilliant human being kids who, that if I'd have been there and could talk about playing on the half turn and get your first touch, so you
helped them more a bit.
I would have helped
the
them
same
more. And they
problem
maybe
with me,
would have had sporting careers. At the moment, one of them's in Manchester at the university, and one's going to Newcastle. The other one's doing his 6th form. But so I've spent the summer with them. We went to Gleneagles and played some golf. It's nice when the dad can play with his 3 sons on a 4-ball around Gleneagles. I took the wife to Ibiza. But the football season started now, and I can feel already I'm watching.
Itchy.
Thinking, why is it itchy? Why are they doing that? Yeah. Why are they playing so high? Or why are they, when there's 6 men ready to press, why are they taking short goal kicks? It's itching, I think so.
Oh, you'll fit in right well on this podcast,
Oh,
Tony.
absolutely,
That was Sam talking there.
Well, there we go.
So your list of former clubs is so impressive. So Ipswich, Hibs, West Brom, Celtic, Middlesbrough, Coventry, Blackburn, Sunderland, Birmingham. Right. Of all of your clubs,
nearly as many as me, I think.
Yeah, not quite, Sam.
No.
Of all of your clubs, what's your favourite season that you've had?
That's a tough one.
Well, listen, I think probably winning the championship with West Brom. My first job was amazing. I went to Hibernian. I played in Scotland. I played for Celtic for 4 years, and I was working for Joe Royle at Ipswich Town. After 3 years at Hibs, I went to West Brom. The same thing happened really. I'd drive into work in the morning. The phone rang. It was Jeremy Peace, who was the owner and chairman at West Brom. Mm-hmm. I drove down, met in one of his directors' homes, and got the job.
Dan Ashworth with him.
Dan Ashworth. Me and Jeremy employed Dan as a technical director because Jeremy was a hard-nosed businessman. Yeah. He admitted he wouldn't know much about football, but he was very hands-on. So it was just me doing all the football and Jeremy doing all the contracts, all the business, wanting to know everything. It was really hands-on, but he was really... the best thing is to say, let's say, hard-nosed businessman.
Yeah.
We needed a barrier, but we both did. I couldn't really talk to Jeremy. I suppose, managing up Sam is something in my life, in my football career. I'm much more comfortable managing
the
footballers,
players and your staff, your own
rather
staff,
than talking to owners, to chairmen.
Okay.
I try not to talk down to them. I try and be respectful to them.
Yes.
But anyway, we had 3, 4, 5 interviews. Nobody really fit the remit. And so we took Dan Ashworth out of the academy director, and give him the job. I got on really well with Dan. The chairman liked Dan, and he was off and running, being a sport and technical director at West Bromwich Albion. And he helped us.
He's
really
back with the FA now, isn't he?
He is. I like Dan. It's because as a football manager, he didn't step on my toes. He wasn't telling me, have you thought about this? Or why don't you do that? We're going to buy him. We just talked football, and I told him why I did certain things, and he was just great. And then he'd go and tell Jeremy what was happening. Jeremy would go, okay, rather than him phoning me at 11 o'clock at night and saying, what the effing hell's going on, blah, blah. He knew everything because I was transferring it through Dan Ashworth to him. Anyway, that first season with likes of John Hartson, Chris Perry, Nigel Quasi, Ronnie Walwork, Steve Watson. It was a really experienced team. We got to the playoff final and got beat off Derby County. That was the year Derby got 11 points the following season in the Premier League. But we got beat 1-0 in the
Was that Billy Davis?
Billy Davis. On the back of that defeat, we sold Big John, we sold all them. Kevin Phillips probably moved on, and we signed James Morrison, we signed Chris Brunt, we signed a few players that actually won the league the following year. So if you're asking me what was my best season out of all them clubs, I think achievement of winning the championship. I still remember the day we were at QPR, we won 2-0, and just holding up the trophy to the fans that had all travelled.
I just want to quickly ask you something about Scottish football, and I'm not going to lie, Tony. I was born in Edinburgh. My family's all Scottish. This is more for me and my dad and my brother, who will want to hear what you've got to say. Okay. We're recording this on Tuesday. Celtic play tonight, so by the time this goes out, they might already be out. We're really worried about there being no Scottish teams in Europe.
I see a little bit across the city of what happened to me at Celtic. Really, it was trying to rebuild from the ashes, really, of coming second the year before. Gordon Strachan had left; he'd gone to Middlesbrough. It's really difficult. Walter Smith had got Rangers firing. You go, and all of a sudden, within what are we? 2 league games, 3 league games in Scotland, and they're talking about how much pressure Russell's under, and they look like they could go out 3-1 down from the home leg against Bruges. It feels very similar to when I was there. The team who's in the ascendant, Celtic, haven't particularly played well in the league, and yet we won 3-0 last week in a game that was it 0-0 at half time, or you know what I mean? It's they find a way to win, and the gap just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the pressure from the media. Every national newspaper has 10 pages on Celtic and Rangers, and so the pressure just mounts and mounts and mounts, and so, you know, you have to fear. I hope that Russell, because I think Scottish football needs. Well,
Rangers are not a challenge to Celtic at the moment. It's all last season, are they? Like I mean, and not much else. Nobody else is that. It's
Mr. Tony Bloom's gone into Hearts, hasn't he? Now,
yeah.
And said that he would like to win the league within 10 years. I think he said, or something.
Right.
So,
the league needs some more competition.
Yeah, of course. And it you know, Sir Alex obviously had Aberdeen flying in the 80s. You know, it's. Aberdeen, so will that time ever come, or is the money too big? The fact that Celtic can get into the Champions League and get an extra 20 or 30 million, and this is why it's so imperative that Rangers try to get that extra money, because if they don't, the gap just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and Celtic buy better players, and Rangers are buying like players from Luton and taking on players from loan from the Championship.
Yeah.
The gap's too big, and over 40-odd games, it's way too big. Never mind an Old Firm derby coming this weekend. Rangers might win it, but they still might finish 15 points behind.
Okay, you've managed some really standout players in your career, Tony. I've got a couple. I've written 4 down, and I wanted to just quickly talk about each of them, please.
Okay.
Get your thoughts on them. So first of all, at Coventry, you had James Maddison.
Yeah.
Wow. Obviously, I mean...
Shall we throw the dart?
No,
sadly, he's injured now with his ACL.
Yeah, what a lovely lad. The first day I got to Coventry, I'm setting up training, I'm kicking the ball about. I was probably still taking the training in them days, and this little kid came and chapped me on the shoulder. He wasn't warming up with the others. He chapped me on the shoulder. He didn't, and I'm turned around. He said, "Oh, hello, Mr. Mowbray. My name's James. I'll be in your team in the next few weeks. I'm injured at the moment, but I'll be playing for you pretty soon." And I'm thinking, who the hell was that? It was James Maddison. And I would say he was a match winner then at 17, 18. I remember that season as I'd gone in and they were really struggling and we were trying to stay up. Away at Crawley, we had to win to stay up, I think. And Maddison, he put this ball down from 25 yards and he just whipped it in the top, as if it was just normal for him, really. He's just an amazing talent. At 17, 18, he had the personality to be a star, is what I saw. A lad who had such belief and confidence in his own ability and yet then produced it. Was amazing. Not a lad who talked the game and was poor and was ducking out of challenges and didn't perform. He produced. I watched him play at Tottenham Stadium last season against Man United, and he probably had twice as many touches as every other player on the pitch. He has got that same pitch personality. Give it to me, take it under pressure, hold people off, play around the corner. I enjoyed his performance that day against United because of that. Give it to me. He ended up almost playing left back though in the build-up to help the team build the ball through the pitch, and he's a wonderful talent. It's sad
is
for him.
that's what I'm saying. Is it the injuries or is it you know?
Well, we wish him well.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, let's hope he recovers from this ACL and comes back. Yeah, you had David Raya at Blackburn.
I did, yeah. David, he was there when I got there, to be honest, but he was a young goalie, not in the team. He was he'd been brought from Spain. I'm not sure, recruitment brought him. I didn't do anything with the recruitment. He was there, but a lovely lad, somebody who wanted to get better. You could feel it on some footballers. They're out there. You're actually wanting them to get off the training ground and come in. What are you doing? You know, he was constantly asking the young players to do shots, to work in his angles, catching it, distribution, volleying. David, get in. I'd call him David just to annoy him, really. David, he was an amazing kid and a brilliant goalie because he's not 6'4". He doesn't fill the goal massive, but he was so athletic and so wanting to be where he's got to, I would suggest. Wanting to be that goalie. And I think it was a big call for Arsenal to take David Raya, to be honest, from Brentford. But
it certainly proved him right compared to Ramsey, who I thought was a good goalkeeper as well. Like I mean, but
David's got that personality. That I'm sure even now he's the last one on the training ground every day. He wants to be best. He wants to be number one for Spain. I'm pretty sure he wants to play for number one for Arsenal teams, because I think clubs like Arsenal, if there's a glitch in your whatever your makeup, they will just replace, won't they? They just keep bringing in excellence.
Yeah.
And so you have to stay on top of it, because if you start to become a little bit complacent, before you know it, there's a new goalie coming in for 50 million and you were on the bench and your career there's done.
Yeah. Okay, you also had Dan Neil at Sunderland, who has obviously recently lost the captaincy to Xhaka. How do you think that will be affecting him?
Well, listen, again, Dan Neil is a lovely lad. They were all young. It was the average age of the team at sort of 22 point something when I was there for that 18 months or 16 months, whatever I was there. Dan Neil was the captain. He's a steady Eddie. He plays centre mid. He takes it off the back. He's a footballer who I wanted him to be more positive. Sometimes he wanted just to keep the ball, go back to the centre half, back to his full back. Can't you get turned and play around the corner into the 10, look forward. Pushed him really hard to play more forward and try and impact the pitch up rather than just be safe and keep the ball moving. How will the captaincy come in? Because he's a Sunderland lad. All of his life he wanted to play for Sunderland, and here he was captain. So I think it's a big blow for him personally to lose the captaincy. But his first thought would be for the club to try and stay in the league. Granit Xhaka, an amazing footballer at Arsenal, and yet the sadness for me, I suppose, as I think of Granit Xhaka, is getting booed off the pitch at the Emirates and reacting to the fans who were booing him. I can't remember what the occasion was, but I don't know whether he got substituted and it was a poor reaction, but the fans were booing and he was gesticulating to them. And I'm only saying that not because I bring it up for any malice. I bring it up because that's what sticks in my mind when I think of Granit Xhaka. But experienced footballer.
Oh, good signing for Sunderland, I think, because of that experience. And if he's as good a captain as he can play, and he can play to the level he played for Arsenal, he's going to bring a lot, not just to them.
Of course.
He's going to bring a lot to the team.
Yeah. My only fear for Sunderland, and it's not, I think they're going to do okay, I'm pretty sure, is when I was there, the strength of that football team was a core group of maybe 14, 15 lads who actually loved each other, who drove each other. Luke O'Nine came from Wycombe Wanderers for Buttons, and you were 30 seconds late in the building by the time you were supposed to be. If they were supposed to be in at 9:30, he was bang on it every single day, that everybody had to be out for training when we start. Everybody did their extras. Nobody was cutting any corners. The group was so tight and they self-drove each other. And my job was pretty easy, really. And yet my fear for them is that they lose that because, O'Nine's not playing, Dan Neal's not playing, Patrick Roberts isn't playing, Jack Clark got sold, Amad Diallo went back to United. It's more the core of that group, the strength that it brought to get them to where they've got. Of course, and you tamper that with you have to spend in the Premier League now because that group probably wouldn't have survived and they might have made a good fist of it, but you need the qualities. Sam will know, the players you brought for Bolton, that changed English football to an extent, your coaches and stuff like this. It's sometimes you have to have class, you have to have quality, the guy that can make the difference in the big games.
Sunderland, for me, was a great experience in terms of going back as the manager. One is how will they take to me because I managed Newcastle, but they also knew I played for Sunderland.
Yes.
So Andy knew I did a bit of work with Reedy on the academy until I got the Notts County job.
Yeah.
And one of the best things that can happen to you, in fact, I lost my first game away at West Brom, 1-0. Tony Pulis was manager, I think. Yeah. And my second game was Newcastle at home.
Oh, gosh.
And however we won it, I don't know. But we actually won. Steve McLaren was manager.
Yeah.
We won 3-0.
So cushion that, doesn't it? Yeah.
So I'm hearing 6 in a row, 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 6 in a row. So I comes off and I said to that, what's that? He said, we beat Newcastle 6 times in a row over the last 3 seasons. Wow. He says, and I went, wow, and that lifted the Sunderland fans, made me really popular. Yeah, of course so the job was to sort this team out as quick as we could, which became about signing players in January as much as getting the players already there to produce. But I had the ace in the sleeve, the golden nugget called Jermaine Defoe. Yeah. And finding a way to provide Jermaine Defoe was the ultimate guide to success and in terms of our fight against relegation. I find it easy to organise a defence to stop conceding goals, which is the major player when you're down the bottom, isn't it, Tony? And then protecting Jermaine Defoe and providing him with the right service is imperative. And everybody talks about what style of football you play. You've got your own style. I've got my own pragmatic styles in terms of where I go. But it's never been non-attacking like people, or never been long. Well, there will be long ball if it suits, but it won't be. But Jermaine Defoe was us providing, which he hadn't. He was frustrated when I got there, and well, what do you need? Yeah. He said, well, I don't need it to feet. Yep. He said, but I'm on the shoulder player. I put the ball in the box and I'll score. It becomes quite simple, the game of football.
What really surprised me in my time at Sunderland was the emotion and the passion, their love, their deep love for that football team. And it's not at every football club, but they are. I almost felt like part of their family, and yet I'm from down the road where I thought it would be tough for me, and yet they took to, I think, the honesty. They took to the honesty because I try to be honest, tell them as I see it, tell them what's happening, and they turned at 46,000 every week at home. It's unbelievable.
That's going to be their superpower if they stay up.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
It's amazing.
For sure.
Hey, well, all 3 clubs have actually got 3 points on the board. So
I know. Did you see the that?
Yeah,
For the first
so
time,
it's the
I think
first
it's
time
the
for
first
a
time
long
since
time.
1996 that the three
Right,
promoted
wow.
clubs have got a win in the first 2 games.
But certainly from the last 2 seasons previously, all 3 clubs got relegated and none of them started with winning a game in the first
we need at least
4 or
one of
5
them
games,
to
like
stay
I mean.
up.
So
we need it.
So I think it adds to the entertainment if the big boy comes along and the team that's just got promoted can
Well, Burnley have got
nick a
United at
point off
weekend,
them,
so hopefully that'll be another win for them, for Burnley. That will obviously. And last player I want to talk about that you had as well. So when you were at Blackburn, you had Harvey Elliott. Obviously, the under-21s tournament in the summer, he was player of the tournament for England. He's at Liverpool now. But do you think he needs to leave Liverpool?
Well, listen, what I would say, if I was going to advise Harvey, he needs to talk to his manager, really. I think it's a waste of a talent sitting on that. I watched the game against Newcastle, and so he came on right at the death there, and Party played a pass before the pass that they scored the winner in the last minute there. But he's an amazing talent. He's got unbelievable quality. One of these lads that the ball is, he doesn't have to look at the ball, Harvey. The ball, he knows what he's doing. It's part of him, I think, the football. It's so easy to him. And I think special players have got that. And
he should know whether the manager fancies him or not.
Yeah.
And
it's not difficult.
Yeah.
When you broke into the side and you play, he only has to balance out how much he played with Jurgen Klopp and how much he's going to play.
Yeah. It's an amazing talent to be sitting on the bench. You know
what I mean? And that tells you that's a tale in itself where you knock on the door.
Yeah.
And don't leave it to your agent.
No, I agree.
Please.
Go and
if the manager's not good enough to talk to you face to face and say, well, if the right club comes from here, we'll move you on. Because I can see you, playing as a squad player. If that's good enough for him and he wants to stay at Liverpool, fine. If it's not good enough for him, it's too late now because I don't think he's going to go anywhere before the deadline. But the games he's going to play between now, and next window will tell him whether he should be staying at Liverpool or whether he should be leaving.
I think he impacts the game every time he comes on the pitch at Liverpool. The problem for him is probably his best position is off the right in the attacking area, and Mo Salah plays off the right in the attacking area. So there's a huge elephant in the room for him, really. He might be thinking, Salah, how long is he? I did what he signed a new contract, Salah. How long is he going to stay? Because he is Liverpool quality with the ball at his feet. He can play amazing passes into the box, into people's feet, look away passes. He keeps possession of the football.
Was he a Blackburn kid?
No, they signed him from. He came from London, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he's at Fulham.
Fulham, all right.
Fulham as a kid, went to Liverpool. He's got a personality as well. I think he's got a winning mentality, and it's a big call for him to what's next, because the years start rolling by in your career, and it's okay being a bit part player at Liverpool, but maybe he's waiting for Salah to move on. I don't know.
Well, some serious names there. Okay, I want to talk about the weekend football reaction. Yes. Indeed, you mentioned there last night football reaction as well.
What a game! What a game!
That was some game.
Oh, it's a brilliant best game of the season up to now by far, in my opinion. I just sat on the edge of my seat, like going, what a comeback from Newcastle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a sickening blow. 101 minutes when they scored, and I don't know whether Eddie will kick himself for not protecting the 2-2 just for those few minutes. And me and Tony were talking before and said if you did that and then they scored, you get a lot of criticism. But I'd have to face the criticism head on, because if you're thinking of winning, it's great. But if you leave the back door open and you're Liverpool were second best all season, all game rather. But their finishing is deadlier than Newcastle's, and that was proven last night.
Games
so
Bournemouth
you've got 11. You've got 11 v10, and they've ran the heart out. And as a manager, you can't get carried away with the euphoria. You've got to look at it cold-heartedly and say 2-2's a win.
Yeah,
with 10 men against Liverpool, having been behind twice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Just 3 minutes, 4 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Sure, shore it up. Everybody's got a different opinion.
Yeah.
Shore it up. But that was just my only, and it's very harsh.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's very, very harsh, and that's just me like looking at the situation on where it lay and what he did. I mean, in all fairness, the amount of corners they had again in injury time.
Yeah.
I think they felt they were going to win it. That's why he didn't stick 5 at the back and shore it up. They felt as if they were going to get a goal. The roof would have come off the place, and yet we sit here now and say, "Oh God, it was naive," or Eddie should have. I know if I'd have been Eddie in that, I would have been done the same. You'd have been, you'd have been trying to win the football match.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think you take how amazing they were, the effort, the graft, the organisation, the fact they still kept on the front foot, the fitness levels. Wow. I think their midfield is amazing. The balance, we talk about balance of midfield players, but to have Joe Linton, who initially signed, for 40 million as a centre forward, didn't he? Look at how an amazing athlete he is.
What a transformation as a midfield player,
crazy,
Tony.
Brilliant. But Tonali's class, Guimaraes is what a footballer, because his emotion and his passion for the game. When he scored his goal, how connected to the support base he is. It's I think the Newcastle are a really, really good team.
The owners try to get Isak back in the fold. Well, apparently this morning, in the press, that they've been to see him. It's going
to be an interesting week to see what happens with him. But given that they didn't have him, they went down to 10 men. They've got injuries all over the place.
That's right.
It was really impressive.
Sending off, which was just over exuberant when he'd just gone there and I thought he tried to actually pull away from it in the end, but then when you see the camera shining on the stud marks, you wouldn't argue against a red card.
Yeah, I think they've bought really well as well, haven't they? To be honest, looking at Elanga, how fast and direct Elanga is off that side. You got Jacob Murphy, who was probably one of their best players last year, and yet didn't even come off the bench, and the kid from Villa who's now signed. I think Newcastle is looking really good. I know they've picked up some injuries, but he put his best 11 on that field most weeks.
But they haven't got a centre forward without.
No.
Yeah, they haven't.
No. But
I mean, most clubs can only afford one centre forward these days, can't they? Well, you can only find one.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. And yet,
you know what I mean?
The kid from Liverpool who they were trying to sign has obviously scored 3 goals now. Nikiti, as he called it. Looks good.
Well, Newcastle was chasing him first, weren't they?
Yeah. Another game for Manchester United, another game for Amorim, another game not winning. I'm a Man City fan,
but I mean,
you hadn't realised yet.
I don't think, personally, they should have lost against Arsenal. I thought they'd done enough to get a result in that game, like I mean. But the missing a penalty and then scoring and then losing in the last few minutes shows there's an improvement in the team. But they spent big money again. It's another 200 million.
Yeah.
I mean, how long does it go on before you get a team that's going to finish regularly? That sort of money you should be finishing regularly in the top 3. Never mind the top 4.
Never mind the top half.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was saying this. What manager would keep his job when he'd got less points than matches played? For Manchester United, yes, they are better. Yes, I thought they were going to win against Fulham, but unfortunately, it's 2 games in, and it has to change pretty quickly, And I think that on the basis of how bad it went last season, this season, and the money that's spent, has to go a long, long way to proving all what he's done. There's no doubt about it, the quality as a manager when he's got the right players for the right system in Portugal.
Yeah. But
when you're at the club the size of Man United, you've got to handle the pressure. You've got to handle the enormity that comes with it, the scrutiny that you're faced. Not just him, but all his staff and the players, the new players on the pitch. It's not easy playing for Man United.
No. So I come from a school of, this is your players. What's the best way to win football? His job isn't to play in my opinion, can I say this from a position of total humility, that he's manager of Manchester United. Who am
Absolutely.
I?
Yeah,
Who
that's
am
right.
I
Yeah,
to
get
tell
that.
him what to do?
Yeah.
But in my stomach, it feels like you don't have to play 5-4-1, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to do it. If the group of players is screaming at you to play like a 3-man midfield to protect the lack of mobility of a Casemiro, if you want to play him, or whoever it might be, you maybe have to put an extra man in there. So why would you be so stuck on one system and trying to force Amad Diallo as a right wing back? Amad Diallo, who's a brilliant footballer, Man United class, I would suggest. I speak to Gary Pallister a lot about this where we sit and have coffee in Yam High Street most days. Amad Diallo, he's a genius. I talked about not having to look at the ball. The ball's stuck to his left foot. He is a brilliant football player and a brilliant human being. And you played him at right wing back just to fit into your system.
You had him at Sunderland, didn't you?
I had him at Sunderland and he was a genius.
He said you were like a dad to him.
Did he?
Hey, get the old dad talk when you get older. It's quite good, you know. Yeah, it's quite pleasing.
I genuinely love footballers. You know, I left school at 16 or maybe 15 and a bit and became an apprentice and cleaned the boots and did the stands and had the camaraderie and went on the boys' holidays to Magaluf. I grew up.
We're talking about exactly the same old stories here, you know.
No, but my point being, I love footballers, and as long as they are humble enough to know that when you have to work on this, you have to get better at that, you have to stop doing this, you can't do that. As long as they listen and trust you, almost like a father figure to them, that you're doing it for them, not for me and my career, but for you and your career, you can create a bond with footballers that they will run through a brick wall for you because you're talking to them to help them. Because I want them all to be multimillionaires with big houses and beautiful families, and they're nice. How do you do it? Hard work, endeavour, talent, never stop trying to get better. And that's some buy into it and some go, yeah, I've heard it all before, I'm not interested, you know, and that's all right. So Ahmed was one of the ones who wanted to get better and wanted to practice and yet he should be bending it in the top corner with his left foot. He should be sitting people on the backside and scoring wonderful goals like I know he can. Why is he chasing people back into his own box, you know, playing right? That's my thought, not just about Amad Diallo, but when I watch Man United, don't be stuck with one system. If you can afford to buy some of the best players in the world, put them in the right positions and let them do what they're good at. Let them, why they're one of the best in the world, because they've done it repeatedly. Let them, give them the freedom to go and do what they do.
But I don't think players have got the freedom now. I think coaches are so bent on building their own reputation about how great a coach they are, that they are coaching players to not think. Because you have to do what they want you to do, and you don't, on the field, you're not allowed to spend a license of playing what you see. Yeah. Which has been a huge part of my experience in terms of how I grew up. This is the system, this is how we play that suits us. But if you see something, it's because it's you on the ball, or it's you reading the defensive side of it, it's you that's making that decision. Your manager, your coach can't make all the decisions for you, and that seems to be what's happening now about building their own reputation. These phenomenal coaches, you know, and coaching isn't the be all and end all, because what Tony has just hit on is more important. Yeah. It's the compassion, the understanding, and the camaraderie you build, which is far greater psychologically than it is your coaching. But this lack of understanding about building something that's special comes about by what you do with the players. The coaching is about that much of it. And the other 85%, what you do with your staff and how your staff look after what you build. And management. People coming in and feeling it, feeling, oh, I'm in the right place. I'm looking forward to coming train. I'm looking forward to train. The manager's asking how I am. How's your family? What's the kid? Oh, there's a bunch of flowers here. Your wife's just been pregnant. here's a big candle, big scented candle when we're away at Christmas, saying thank you very much for allowing your husband to play for us. We really appreciate it. It's those things that players, because the wife goes, well, nobody's ever done that before.
Love a scented
And
candle,
so when the player's happy
Yeah.
and the wife's happy, if the wife's not happy, the player's not happy.
Yeah.
So there's mega times more stuff you have to do. But as the coach, head coach, you don't have to do that anymore. As the manager, you do. And that's why taking away a manager as a manager is one of the worst things that's happened in the Premier League, believe you me.
I try and create an environment when I go to a football club, first and foremost. It's not about the tactics. It's not about this, because players have indoctrinated into. So you were a Man City fan. Their players are so indoctrinated in how to play, what to do, and it's amazing. Listen, I grew up feeling as if the best time in my life was watching Pep Guardiola's Barcelona around 2012, just ripping the rest of the world to bits with Iniesta and Xavi and Messi. It was unbelievable, right? So undoubtedly, I would suggest the best coach in the world ever. But to create an environment at a football club where not the best players in the world, but a group of lads who care about each other and want to fight for each other and want to be successful and want to get the nice things in life for their families by being successful. How do you do it? Well, the first thing is to create an environment where they want to come to work with a smile on their face and they want to play. I talk about artists and soldiers. I was telling Sam earlier about 1989 on an aeroplane to Iceland. I sat next to Dave Sexton. Now, Dave Sexton, what a man, what a coach.
What a great
and he
man.
talked to me about
Great
artists and soldiers and how many artists are you going to have in your team and how many soldiers. Now, the artists in my teams, I let them play. I say, give the ball to Jack Clark or Patrick Roberts at Sunderland, give the ball to Bradley Dack at Blackburn Rovers. See you, son, stop, Travis, stop trying to do that. Just give it to Dack. Job done. And then Dack would stick it through someone's legs, look over there and play reverse passing and we'd score at the back stick. Give it to Jack Clark. He'd beat three men driving across from the left wing on his right foot and bend it in the top corner. And I don't teach them that. I don't show them a drill that can beat three men and bend it in the bottom corner or the top corner. It's their talent. They're the artists. Let the artists paint the pictures on the pitch and let the soldiers fight the battles, stop the transition when we're hanging on for a 1-0 or we're going to take 2-2 against Liverpool rather than get beat 3-2. Who throws their body in front of the ball? Who blocks it? Who wins the header when he's odds on against him? And all of those things, soldiers and artists, and make the soldiers feel like warriors. Then that without them, we can't win. And let the artists, without them, we ain't going to break this team down and we ain't going to score because you have to bring the magic. And sprinkle some of that magic dust on our team and we can win.
I like that a lot.
Right.
I really like that. It also leads me lovely onto an artist at Everton.
Yes.
2 assists this weekend for Jack Grealish.
Oh, I knew you'd mention him.
Oh,
yeah, one of your favourites.
Oh, I just want
Jack.
everybody just wants him to do well.
Oh, well, we're so glad. I'm so glad that he got to Everton, and I'm so glad that he got away from Manchester City in the end because it clearly needed to happen, and I think he's for Manchester City and for him, it's the right thing to do, and I think that he'll play most weeks if he's fit. If he can cope with all the games, which I'm sure he can.
I think Grealish. I remember taking Blackburn to Villa Park, and Grealish played wherever he wanted. He was number 10, he was left wing, he was right wing, he was playing between the centre halves to get a touch to build the game. He's got personality on the pitch and the players know to give him the ball. A bit like Maddison, I said at Coventry when I went to Coventry. He's got some of that genius, that magic dust I talk about, that he knows he's got it. And if you can persuade the soldiers in your team to know that Jack can win us the game, give him the ball, and that Jack, if you want to go and play number 10 or you want to drift a bit deeper, I'm giving you the license. I want you to make this team different, special. If we don't score today, or we don't score for the next couple of games, Jack, I'm not blaming you, but I'm asking, where's the magic, son? Why aren't you sticking it through his legs? Why aren't you beating some men? Why aren't you whipping it across the box? Why aren't you seeing the pass into the striker's feet? Because he can't do it. All he can do is win some headers and get strong and win some 50-50s and give it to you. I'm just pleased that I'm sure what you're going to see is like a lad like at Aston Villa, where he basically was not a one-man team. That's unfair on all the others. But the dependency on him to make things happen around the 18-yard box was huge. And I must say to you, I never sat and watched Man City throughout the times. I do hear on the radio as I'm driving sometimes that in their treble season, Jack had a fantastic season.
Wouldn't have won it without him.
Right, well, there you go. So what a talent. What's happened and why he's become a little bit disenchanted, I'm not sure because I'm not there every day, but I love him as a footballer. I love his cheeky grin. I
like him as a person, as well
smile.
As his personality.
I love listening to his interviews.
Yeah.
I hope he just loves football and just wants to play. And if that's where he's at now, then hopefully the next 4 or 5 years we're going to see some amazing stuff from him.
We all agree on that. We wish him the absolute utter best and his lovely family. Okay, something not so good this weekend, Sam. This seems mad to me, but also not because it is West Ham that I want to talk about. There is reports going round that allegedly, it's rumours that David Solomon's...
I've had the meme again that I'm going back.
You
know with me Italian jacket on.
Yeah, is it when you're at Allardyce?
And Italian back in the big tash on, and like you mean the sunglasses, and Allardyce's on his way back to West Ham.
These rumours are that David Sullivan is only going to give Graham Potter 2 more games to turn it round. That seems mad to me. 4 Premier League games.
It happens, doesn't it? I think that David Sullivan is experienced enough to know, on his experience of what happened last time with Abraham Grant, that he didn't do it soon enough, then didn't do it at all. Why did I know that? Because he rang me up and said, come and be the manager, and then changed his mind. That would have been December or early January. They got relegated, and then I became the new manager that summer. He's very good at giving you time. He's never jumped quickly normally, and of course in this case it's because of what happened last season. Everybody's saying give him time to settle in. There is no time for you to settle in.
No,
there is no time. Your results matter. Yeah. Your average, your results, your points, and wherever you are and whatever you're doing and what the expectation is you have to try and live up to it. And of course you've got big boots to follow with Moisey. Yeah. I mean, Moisey's, track record at West Ham in his second spell is absolutely terrific.
I think as a football manager, we all live in the same world of you have to win football matches, and it's not, what a lovely guy he is, let's keep him as our gaffer, or God, he's so shouting, everybody hates him, all he ever does is shout, and let's get rid of him. You have to win football matches, however you do it, whatever your personality is and how it interacts with that group of footballers, and I think with the fan base sometimes, because the fan base is whatever we think, and we shouldn't think about it, but they're either with you or they're not. How do you? I try to be honest with all my press conferences so that the fans, because I know that they listen, they watch, they see people talk to me in the street sometimes and say, God, I watched your press conference the other day, and I think, have you got nothing better to do than watch me talking in a press conference? And yet it's their life.
I watch the press conferences
people's
too.
Life. Well, that's what I'm saying, but people do, and so you can endear yourself to the fan base by having an honesty, by being open and transparent. Be careful about thinking that you're a bit clever than everybody else, and I think there's some managers fall into that trap. That at times think that they have to be cute and clever. I think the best way is to have transparency and let people know the issues you've got. So with Graham Potter, for instance, I'm trying to sit here and think, who have they signed this year? I know they lost Kudos, who was probably after Bowen their most influential footballer last year.
But we all have to cope with that, though.
No, I understand that's part of the job.
Well, we've not been fortunate enough to. Well, I was fortunate enough to manage Newcastle without the funds to buy the players we needed. If you had the players and the funds to be at a club like that to make them great, you will do. You do it, I'd do it.
No, of course.
Irrespective of what anybody else, well, why is he talking like that again? Like all that crap he's going on with. Well, it's true. Because we wouldn't be sat here and being the managers we've been if we didn't think we could go and manage at the top level, if we were given the opportunity and the money and the players to deal with. I can make anybody into a great team if I've got the best players.
Of course.
It's not,
and I think Graham Potter knows he has to win football matches.
Yeah, so he has to go back to basics, doesn't he? Your basics are clean sheets, and if it takes 1-0 for a while, then that's it. But if you don't, then, and if you do what he did, criticising the recruitment, which he's done, then that's a direct stab at David Sullivan, because David Sullivan is so hands-on recruitment. You have to you have to stop David signing you a player.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to go, David, please don't. Well, he's good enough. He's good enough, Sam. He's good enough, and he's good enough. Right, but I don't.
Yep.
The Zuma's linked to them, and I just think they have to get him. They have to.
Oh yeah, I think he'd be a good player for him. From Tottenham. Yeah. But the relationship between West Ham and Tottenham is pretty bad, by the way. So he's going to have to pay over the odds for Basuma, believe you me.
Right, I'd like to finish the podcast, Tony. I mentioned it to you when you came in. There's a standing joke that I have with the crew here that this is essentially a Blackburn Rovers podcast half the time, partly because a lot of the people that work on this podcast support Blackburn Rovers, and obviously we have our.
Yes, I like Blackburn Rovers. There's another one. I go from Bolton to Blackburn Rovers and thinking, how difficult is this going to be? Like, I mean, because Bolton Blackburn battles.
Yeah.
When I were there, were against Suey or whoever there. It was like pretty all in. You know what I mean? But Blackburn fans, fantastic.
We love the Blackburn fans, and we appreciate them because they've sent in so many questions for you. We always ask for questions from our listeners and our viewers. So here's a few of the questions that we had in specifically from Blackburn fans.
Yep.
So you gave Adam Wharton his debut. Is he even better now than you could have imagined that he would be?
I had him when he was 15, 16. He was a baby, really. We would bring him up for numbers at times. So if you know the understanding of the Blackburn Rovers, the academies at the bottom and the first teams at the top. And so if you need extra numbers, you bring them up. You phone down, say send up so and so. We used to send up Adam Wharton to make the numbers because he never gave the ball away. He wouldn't spoil the session. He would, even as he was like that little, my finger I'm holding up. He was skinny, no real mobility, wasn't very strong, but every time he touched the ball, he give it to a teammate. Every time he protected it with his body and he'd see a pass, he would never give the ball away. And at 15 and 16, and yet the kid who scored for Liverpool, the winner of the day, he's 16, and I give Chris Hogg his debut, young lad at Sunderland, at 15, scored a goal away at Fulham. It would have been the winner. It was offside in the 90th minute, Chris Riggs, And young players, I've always liked to play young players. Amazing footballer, never give the ball away, always one touch, protect it with his body, weak, didn't feel as if he was mobile really, but what a talent. Played with his head up. And this comes back to Soldier as an artist. He says, this is an artist, a Rembrandt or a Van Gogh really as a football player. So could he play for your team? Undoubtedly. He could play for anybody. He could play for anybody. He's a wonderful kid. He didn't have a big impact with me because he was so young, literally probably just turning 16, but would come up and train with the first team every now and then. And you could see straight away, I used to laugh with Vino after training that I don't honestly think he lost the ball once in an hour and a half of small-sided games or whatever. He was just a genius with the ball. And so when I was taking the odd call from Crystal Palace about this young kid, I just had to, as I try to say to you, I'm honest about everything. I feel the best thing in life is to have transparency, to show people who you are. I call it exposing your soul. I expose my soul to the team, really, and so they see my frailties. They see what I'm good at. They see where I'm vulnerable. And so I would tell them, listen, Wharton, if you were not Crystal Palace, if you were Man City phoning me, I would be telling you, what a footballer, but bit weak. Bit frail, can't really run fast.
What a player.
What a footballer. It was uncanny.
That's got to be his brain.
Well, that's his brain. So
Yeah, it's got to be his brain.
You watch him play, he sees every pass around the corner before the ball comes.
Yeah.
He sees the space. Sometimes he doesn't even look. He knows the right wingers out there and he hits it first time and it's straight to his foot. Yeah. He's a genius of a football player. But some managers wouldn't have him because he's weak and he can't run fast and he's not very strong. But he's
always got time though on the ball, hasn't he? So he's not rushed from that point of view. When we see a frantic game and then you see somebody and you think like, well, you know, he never seems to get caught on the ball or nobody seems to be tackling him because of his. Yeah. That's part of his.
I'm very conscious. I don't want to take too much credit for Adam Wharton because he was a young boy who was just coming through, but it stood out like a sore thumb sometimes the chaotic training was this like swan that everybody else was running around charging attack, and he was just know when to play one touch and know when to go around the corner and know when to stay on the ball. He was brilliant.
There, Tony.
Like no, he was amazing.
A swan.
He was like the calmness of this kid with Lewis Travis trying to kick lumps out of you was like he just popped it off before Trav got near him and then he'd get it back and he'd switch the play. It was just he's a lovely, lovely footballer is what I would say.
Great question. Love that question. Okay, we've had a lot of questions about Bradley Dack. You mentioned him before. Now, this is very specific, Sam. This is a very specific question from the Blackburn Rovers fans. Was he set to join West Brom if he hadn't have done his ACL?
Listen, unless it was getting done behind my back, I had no conversations with West Bromwich about selling Bradley Dack. In fact, if I was going to be the manager of of Blackburn Rovers, I wouldn't have been selling Bradley Dack. And now, I had a really tight, close relationship with Bradley because I would tell Trav, like I said to you, just give him the ball. I would put the emphasis on him to be the magician that could open up the games, and he would, and he could, and he did. I'm surprised of hearing that question that you brought up because it's not in my mind. And yet, if it was going on behind the scenes with agents and with the club,
which you never know about these days,
so it might have been a question.
Very niche question. That. Thank you for that. Also, another one on Twitter. Tim said, "How good would Bradley Dack have been without the injuries?"
I think, I don't know whether I don't know what the age was when he did both his injuries back to back, really. It was so, that second injury was so sad. Again, maybe shouldn't, the privacy of the dressing room and the tears in the dressing room after that second one. You know what the biggest joy I have really now, and I'm hoping to go back to work at some stage, but is when footballers I've managed phone me up, call your gaffer and ask for advice. You know, and I'm not managing for 10, 15 years and they phone up or they text and say, "Gaffer, is it okay if I give you a quick ring?" And I feel as if the level of trust you've got from a young guy who's got an issue that he's asking you, can I solve it for him or can I help him? And it might be just a bit of advice. I say, listen, go and knock on the manager's door and don't rant and rave and shout. Just tell him that this is an issue for you and can we try and find an answer to it, really. Be brave enough to do it sometimes. But it's nice that they call you gaffer and I haven't managed them for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. And it happens quite frequently. I spoke to a player yesterday, actually, that, from a championship club. And it's...
Because you wouldn't know that when you were managing, would you?
No.
It's only when you've left years go by and you think, well, you think you've had an effect on helping us all win, but you've had an effect on the life. So they ring you up and say, "Do you know, what do you think about this?" They now become a manager and say, "Right, Gaffer, what do you think I should? I've got a bit of a problem with the director, or you know, he's putting me under pressure. He's wanting to pick the team." You know, and so there's a lot of stuff there you can talk to about, and hopefully that they get better as they go on and learn more experience and become great coaches or managers after players.
I've got 3 Blackburn Rovers questions left. That's all. Okay. Good. Was a new deal ever discussed in your final year?
For me, no, which is why I got to a certain point and I remember saying in a press conference, listen, I'll go home and be a good dad and hopefully a good husband and enjoy the summer. Because the contract was running down and there was no conversations, no talks. I got asked the question and I said it wasn't.
All the time, don't you, though?
It wasn't a problem.
Did you get asked questions all the time in the press conference?
Yeah, exactly.
I had the same last year at West Ham.
Yeah. And it wasn't a problem for because I genuinely felt like I'd been travelling And being away from home, it was Blackburn from my home is about 2 hours, 10 minutes. If I was going to try to drive it once or twice a week, I'd missed my kids growing up. Important years in their lives where they probably needed their dad more than I was at home. And so I remember saying in the press conference, that's okay, your contracts, that's fine. I will go home and be a better husband and a better father. And that's what I did that summer.
Okay,
only for a short while.
Only for
Another quite specific Blackburn question. What were the involvement levels of the Venkys advisor Pasha at the time?
Sahil is Sahil Pasha. He's listen. First and foremost, I must say, for me, he's a good man, and I know there's some issues around. I was at the game against Birmingham recently and saw some signs in the stand about Sahil, and Sahil is doing his best.
Why do you think they keep the club, Tony?
Why
do you think they keep the club?
Well,
because it's not. It doesn't seem. Is it because they don't want to lose the money that they've been put in it?
I honestly
don't
know.
think.
So, you know what?
Because they're not going to get the money they've invested in it back, are they?
No,
I mean, they didn't buy it for that much, and then they bought it for 25 million.
Hundreds of millions, though, they've invested into this football club. Yeah, hundreds of millions. Right. And as I said, I'd been over to India 4 or 5 times when I was the manager there. I met the Venkys. They were lovely people. You sit and you wait and you see them. It's like we're outside in a pergola, nice water, nice bit of fruit or whatever they're eating, chatting about football. They were very pleasant, lovely people. And then we were talking about the budgets, however many millions and millions that they were going to put into the football club this year. And I found it all very amicable. That they were absent, to be honest, apart from Sahil. And it was good for me because I managed. Because I could manage.
Left you alone then.
Yeah, left me alone. I wasn't getting phone calls after a game if we'd got beaten, asking why I did this and what was going on with that. My relationship with Sahil continues to be really strong, and I think he was very supportive in my 5 and a bit years. Not once did I get interference around the team.
So what did you need to get him up that you didn't get?
Oh, gosh.
Or didn't you ask for it?
Well, if you think about... So it was a bit of a journey for us, Sam, to be honest, because I got there with 15 games to go and they were second bottom of the league.
That's right, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We lost 3 out of them 15 and still got relegated after beating Brentford away 3-1 on the last day of the season.
Wow.
It was Birmingham were the other team that was struggling that and would have gone. Harry Redknapp was in charge at Birmingham, and Huddersfield, who were already in the playoffs, changed their whole team on the last day, changed their whole team, all 11 players, and Birmingham beat them 2-1. Having not won in 16, 17 games, they beat Huddersfield, who were a playoff team, because they changed their whole team for that last game. So the rule actually got changed that you can only make a maximum of 5 out of the 18 now, can't you? After the back of that game.
Yeah.
So the context of me going to Blackburn was that we did get relegated in them 15 games, despite only losing 3 of them. What was great was a bit like
it must have been a long way behind.
We bounced back by getting promotion the next year. And what it does, a bit like Birmingham, the club I'd recently left as well, was... it creates a bond with the fans and the team and the players, and Dak was elevated to be this, Charlie Mulgrew was whipping left-footed corners, and Charlie was shooting from corners, to be honest. He had such a left foot. He was trying to score from every corner he took. we had Danny Graham up front with his big backside, but could barge people out the way and use his physical presence. And we found a way to win games, and it's great when you're going away and winning 4-0 and then winning 5-0, and it was just a season of joy, really. Lots of goals, lots of winning. Brought the love back to the fans, probably, with that team. And then from there, we tried to build it, really. We weren't given Birmingham or Wrexham type of money, but we were buying footballers at some stage. So what was good for me is that nobody was doing it other than me. So if we had £6 million of a budget, because the wages was 15 million and the budget was whatever 21, and I could spend 3 on this player, or I could spend all of it on one player, or I could buy 10 players, as long as I didn't ever go back to the Venkys and ask for more money.
More money,
and if we wanted to sell one to create some funds to be able to spend it, and I would just talk through that with Sahil, and and it worked all right. What were we missing? We didn't get over the line.
So you weren't tempted, and it's coming January, and you're in a really good position in the top 4.
I know. I see your question coming, Sam, but you
couldn't ask that question with them.
I'd been to India, sat in front of them face to face, and told them I wasn't going to come back and ask for more money. Now, I could have come back and said, but we second in the league with.
But I need this. This will get us up and make you 150 million, 200. You wouldn't.
I never did it.
You didn't do it.
It's not in my personality. My personality, and listen, and this is probably why I've spent most of my career managing in the Championship rather than being so I look at myself as a football manager and a coach. I think I'm a developer. I think I like to grow football clubs. I like to bring the young. I like to look at the academies and Wharton, get him up training with us. First chance we have somebody off sick today, get Wharton up. Don't want anybody else, just Wharton. Because the academy sometimes would say, oh, he's the biggest and strongest. Let's get him up. He'll cope with the first team players. Not interested. Wharton was a little pip. Bring him up, because what a footballer. And I grow clubs, and yet I do sit back and think, if I'd have been a bit nastier, if I'd have been a winner, if I'd have moaned at the owners, if I'd have demanded and stamped my feet, I never stamped my feet. I feel as if I might have achieved more.
I get that. Like you mean, it's because interesting conversations. It's like with me, because was there nobody else could have done it for you?
Well, Vino tried
you know
to
what
do
I mean?
it.
So
Venus was my number 2. Vino's a money man.
I know,
Vino knows.
So if he goes to whoever you operate with in the club, who's close to Venkys, and go to him and say, can you go and just say it would really help to get in the Premier League you had the choices. You had the choices that says one of these players, even if it's just on loan, or 2 of these players, is going to give us a much better chance to get us up. Like I mean, because
I think it's my values, Sam. I am where I grew up and what I did. I'm the son of a scaffolder from the British Steel, and a mum who used to walk along the playgrounds and hold the little kids' hands, as the dinner lady. My values were, when I sat with the Venkys, these people from this beautiful palatial home in India in the mountains, and said, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. That's what I am. But Sahil, the culture, I think, is respect.
Absolutely, but
Indian culture.
But you're showing respect. You're only asking. You're not demanding.
And, well, maybe
you know what I mean. If you don't ask, you don't get. You know what I mean. No, I'm not saying it's a failure by any stretch of the imagination. It might have been
in my mind.
You know what I mean?
So I have these. So I always talk to my players like this: when you go to bed at night and you turn the light off, there's only you and your thoughts. You've had your chat with the missus. You've told the kids you got to get up for 8 o'clock. Blah blah blah. You turn the bedroom light off, and it's just you, and it's pitch black. Only your thoughts. If I'd have been a little bit, I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to phone them and I'm going to tell them we need this to do this. I never did. I was always at peace with, I'd made the deal. I'm not coming back. So I'm not coming back. And then my job is to win football matches to get over the line. We always just fell short. And I can sit here and say, well, Dak got injured, or Brereton Diaz, I want to play him off. Did you play Armstrong? So Adam Armstrong scored 33 goals one season playing left wing. Put him down the middle. He doesn't make the same runs. He's not quite. Adam is a brilliantly asseted footballer, not a thoughtful footballer, not clever, pulls off the back, dives across the front. He's so fast and direct, and he's a brilliant kid, but you have to put him in the right positions and play him in the right areas and just keep telling him how brilliant he is. Maybe we just fell a bit short. Brereton Diaz, did we pay 7 million quid, I think, for Brereton Diaz? That was one of my calls. Let's get him. He played against us in a game. He was 17. He played right wing and he tortured us for Notts Forest. So the price, it started at 5 or 4. Got to whatever. The owners of this football club paid 7 million quid for Brereton Diaz, and that was all on me, really, because I thought he was going to be the bit that got us over the line to win. But that was within the budget we discussed at the start of the season.
Fine,
I didn't feel I could go back, and it's not in my personality, and maybe it's held me back in my career to go back and ask for more, because it'll get us over the line.
I've really enjoyed listening to that. It's really I think that's the sort of insight between two very experienced managers that we never hear.
Well, we're very similar as well in many
yes,
ways, aren't
yes.
we? We grew up the same way. We did we left school at 15. We went, had great careers and good careers as managers.
And both managed Blackburn.
Yeah, both and Sunderland.
And Sunderland,
and West Brom.
West Brom, yeah.
So the last question from the Blackburn Rovers fans was,
Yes.
would you ever go back to the club in any capacity?
Oh, that's probably an unfair question, isn't it? It's, listen, I love football. I live for football. My family and my football life is what I exist for, I think. So I would never... People have said to me through my illness, "Oh, are you going to retire, Tony?" I don't retire. I don't know what that means, to be honest. I love football. I need to be around football. If I'm not watching it, I do watch too much of it. Again, I say if I'm not working, and I know the wife, she knows. She's asked me, the first question I get every morning, is there a match on the telly tonight?
There's too many for her, isn't there?
Too many
for my wife.
So she'll go to bed at 9:30 and
I
knowing
might get
that
my
I
wife a bigger
watch
telly.
Monday Night Football. So, would I go back to Blackburn Rovers? I want to be involved in football. I don't know that I still feel there's a managerial role left for me, but somewhere along the line, Sam, everybody's different. I would like to sometimes talk with a young coach sometimes and give him my advice and give him my thoughts and have you got an atmosphere in this football club where they want to come into work every day? They love it. Does the lady who cooks the dinner know you and loves you because you talk to her every day and you ask about the family? And do the groundsmen really do the best job because you bring them a bacon butty sometimes out and you give them it when it's freezing cold? That's what football is about. Football clubs, the people, it's all about human beings. And if you don't get that right, and so why can't you do it I'm 61. Why can't you do it at 70? You can. Long as you've got some young, because there's lots of brilliant, bright coaches, because Pep Guardiola has brought a whole generation of thoughtful coaches through. Now, as long as you are in control of them and you've decided what training is going to be like today and you watch it and you think, oh, that's pretty good. But then come match day, your voice, your influence is what decides whether they're going to run through a brick wall to win games. How many soldiers are you putting on the pitch today and how many artists are you putting on the pitch? And let them go and play and try and win for them people.
Tony, I've loved this episode so much. Thank
very
you
good,
so
Tony.
much
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
time.
Yeah.
Reminder to all our listeners and viewers that you can get a bet £10, get £30 in free bets offer plus a £10 casino bonus thanks to BOYLE Sports.
She got it right. She got it right this time. Well done.
Remember, you've got to be 18 plus. T's and C's apply. Make sure that you do gamble responsibly, please. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of No Tippy Tappy Football. Please subscribe on YouTube and also don't forget you can claim your free sign-up bonus with BOYLE Sports in the episode description. Thank you as always, Sam.
Thank
you.
you.
This week.